Good morning, beloveds. Um, well, if you know anybody in Florida, treat for them. Even if you don't know anybody in Florida, treat for them. Hurricane Ian is very close to making landfall, and it looks messy. So treat for their safety and know that they are, in Spirit's hands. So, all right. It is September 28th. Our title is I Am Alive, Awake, and Aware. My eyes are messy today, so I'm just going to use the glasses. Okay. For now we see through a glass darkly, but when face to face, now I know in part, but then I shall know even as I am known. And that is 1 Corinthians 13:12. The second one is, O ye people, earth-born folk, ye who have given yourselves to drunkenness and sleep and ignorance of God, be sober now. Cease from your surfeit, cease to be glamored by irrational sleep. And that is from the writings of Hermes. Which should tell you that today's writing is by Ernest Holmes. The title might have told you that, though. How familiar the passage from 1 Corinthians is to all of us. But what does it mean? Other than that our vision is clouded by a material sense of things. Hermes says that we are both drunk and asleep, that we are ignorant of God. Another ancient text says that if we knew God as we ought to, we would be able to walk on the seas, that the mountains would come to our call. Emerson says that once in a while we awake from our slumber and look about us to perceive the world of reality, but too soon sink back again into sleep. All progress is then an awakening. Every scientific fact is a discovery and also an awakening. But we are largely asleep, dreaming away the hours. It is indeed high time that we awaken from the sleep, and no one can awaken us but ourselves. Let us then make every endeavor to arouse to a consciousness of reality and to penetrate the gloom of fear and superstition, to cast aside doubt and uncertainty, to behold that which is eternal. I awake from the dream of fear to the vision of reality, where there is no shadow of which to be afraid. I awake from the dream of lack and want and unhappiness to the knowledge of abundance and of peace. My spiritual eyes are open, and I am alive, awake, and aware of God's sustaining power within and around me. And like I said, it's Ernest Holmes. And that's where we are. That's where we are. If you know anything about the Gnostics and the mystic tradition within the Jewish sect called Kabbalah or Kibbalah, depending on who taught you to pronounce the word, they talk about the demiurge and I forget what it is. And I think maybe it's the demiurge that's putting us to sleep, and wisdom, Sophia, is trying to wake us up. It's that when we come into this material reality, it clouds our senses. That's exactly what Ernest Holmes says. We get caught up in the material world and we forget that this isn't the end all and be all. This is simply an experience. That there is more to this world than we can see. And that it behooves us to look with other eyes. To look with our heart, to look with our consciousness, to look with what we know, to read sacred literature, and to take the time out to do the spiritual practices of treatment and meditation to connect with the source of our own being. It isn't enough to let other people tell you about the source of your own being. It is up to you to make sure that you are connecting with the source of your own being, to get to know that source. And I grew up Catholic, and there's nothing, and there's so many intercessors. It's like you can't go directly to God. You have all of these saints and angels, what have you, and they go to God for you. And I'm like, no. I want to go directly to the source of my own being. I want to go directly to God. And so that's kind of where we are in this material world. It's like we get caught up. We absolutely get caught up. And we forget, this experience isn't the only one. There is something greater than this. There's something beyond this. We are here for a period of time, but we're here for a period of time. And so what we want to do is take that regular time and make sure that we are aware that there's more to what's going on than we see. There is a larger pattern that encompasses the pattern that we're in. And that is why I'm alive, I'm awake, I'm aware. And that requires regular work. It requires regular connection. And we do that connection within ourselves, but we also do it in community. And that is the benefit of community. We are not here to be by ourselves. We are here in connection with other people. So then being in connection with our community supports our practice. It supports our awareness. It's so that we can remind each other when we forget, this is a material reality, but it's not all. There's more to it than that. So we can remind each other, and we can gently remind each other. We don't, it's like one of my favorite memes is, how many pathways are there to the top of the mountain? Well, as many pathways as there are people headed to the top of the mountain. The only person who's wrong is the one running around at the bottom telling everybody else that they're wrong. It's like they're not moving up the mountain. So stop telling people that they're on the wrong path and get on your own path. It's like we can light the path for others. We cannot walk it. They cannot walk our path for us. And that's part of being awake and aware. And the purpose of being in the material reality is to be alive. It is to be alive. And so it is to go out and to do and to enjoy and to experience. And so we want to be all three. We want to be alive. We want to be going out and doing and experiencing the material reality. We want to be awake in understanding this isn't the only reality, that there is more to it than what we can see. And then aware, there's more going on than we know. And while we don't want to be clouded by the material world, to understand that there's a spiritual world beyond this one. We have access to it, but as that first quote said, we see through the glass but darkly. There will be a time when we will be face to face and we will be known, as we will know. And but it requires work on our part. It requires regular spiritual practice, which is why we talk about it every single day. I'm not. Sometimes Ernest leans into a mission, and sometimes he doesn't. So I don't know. When he talks about all progress then is awakening. Every new scientific fact is a discovery and also awakening. We are called science of mind for a reason. But we are largely asleep, dreaming away the hours. It is high time indeed that we awaken from this sleep, and no one can awaken us but ourselves. That is the point of regular spiritual practice, connecting with the source of your own being and connecting with this kind of stuff. Let us then make every endeavor to arouse to a consciousness of reality and to penetrate the gloom of fear and superstition, to cast aside doubt and uncertainty, to behold that which is eternal. So, you want a mission, there it is. Although if we want to use layman's terms, it's like the mission today, should we choose to accept it, is to remember that there is a reality with a capital R beyond the material reality that we see, and to penetrate the fear that this is all there is. To understand that there's more beyond that. And how do we do that? Regular spiritual practice. Regular spiritual practice. And there's a multitude of spiritual practices out there. Listening to people talk about this stuff. uh, reading sacred literature, listening to music, treatment, meditation, all of those, visioning, all of that. That's all regular spiritual practice to connect with the source of your own being. So you've got your mission. Awake, aware, and alive. And then the other mission is the same one I give you every day, which is a spiritual practice of doing something loving for yourself, doing something kind for yourself, doing something compassionate for yourself. I read a meme yesterday and it was talking about kindness, which is an intentional act. Well, a spiritual practice is an intentional act. You deserve your own love. You deserve your own kindness. You deserve your own compassion. You are a beloved child of God. You absolutely deserve your own. Therefore, I encourage you to practice on yourself. Because I want you to create that habit, that first response, that default setting, so that no matter what happens, you can respond lovingly, kindly, and compassionately with yourself and with others. Because we're going to meet people that need a little extra. If we've been practicing on ourselves, we create a bank so that we have plenty to share. Now, allergy season has started. I'm sorry. I can feel it up in my sinuses. I also encourage you, beyond the loving, kind, and compassionate. And one of the things, remember that one of the loving, kind, compassionate things, it can look like taking a walk. It can look like taking a deep breath. It can look like taking a nap. But it also looks like making sure that you are enjoying life. If we are awake, alive, and that is the first part in that, alive, we get to enjoy. So take time out to make sure that you really enjoy something. Engage all 5 of your senses and enjoy it. Yes, the material reality is not the only reality. It is not the end all and be all of reality. But we are here to experience. We are also here to enjoy. So take time out to do that. All right. So I also, as I always do, encourage you to do something to engage your mind and your body. I encourage you to drink plenty of water. Yes, it has cooled off, but still hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. Super important. Your brain works better. And then you'll be more awake, alive, and aware. And then get that early in your day bright light to reset those circadian rhythms. It will help you sleep better and you will have more energy during the day. It is science. You can look it up. I would spell circadian rhythms for you, but yeah, spelling is not one of my gifts. And then as always, open the windows of your soul. Allow the breath of heaven to remind you do live in heaven right here, right now. The material world is not all there is, but we can use that consciousness as Ernest said, arouse to the consciousness that there is more beyond the material reality. Then it activates that superpower where we can create heaven on earth because we understand heaven is not a place. It's a state of mind. It's consciousness, which means we can create it any place we are. All right. It's not something you go to. It's something you awaken to. All right. Here's where we do the social media stuff. We are Creative Life Spiritual Center, Creative Life Spark. And I am the running Rev Ryan on the social medias that I am on. So we try and put amazing content up as often as possible. And if you want to know what's going on with the center, then email info@creativelife.org. That will get you on the constant contact, and the hot links are hot. There's all kinds of neat stuff, book studies, classes, what have you. And I think that's it. So here's where I get to encourage you to have a great day, a wondrous day, a fantastic day, a magical day, an enchanting day, an enchanted day, a wondrous day, a wonder-filled day, a Wednesday, if that happens to be the year that you're watching, that it's on a Wednesday, a good day. And if that is too much pressure, simply have a day, because you are enough just as you are. You are a beloved child of God in whom God is well pleased and well represented. It's a state of grace. Which the good news about that is it doesn't have to be earned, and it can't be taken away. Not by anybody. All right? You are beloved, honestly. So, Reverend David should be on around 5 p.m. with you. I believe he's back in the States now. I will be back with you at 9 a.m. There's all that social media content, so yeah, especially all over YouTube, feel free to check that out. In fact, I highly recommend the Soul Sessions playlists. Click on playlists, check on the Soul Sessions. There's some amazing stuff on that. So if you need something for inspiration, go there. And know that you're loved. So I will see you next time.